For some actors, dedication to their craft knows no bounds. There's been a long history of performers who have gotten so stuck into their roles that they've taken things a little too far, whether they've injured themselves or frightened their co-stars on set. While method acting is considered a technique adopted by the greatest of actors, there's been many examples of such instances where maybe dialing it back a little could have been beneficial. Welcome to Patrol Clip. Today, we're going to compile 10 actors who took their roles a little too seriously at times. Some of these names probably won't surprise you as much as others, such as Daniel Day-Lewis and Joaquin Phoenix, but others like Natalie Portman and Ashton Kutcher, for example, they may make you look twice. Before we begin, make sure you hit like, subscribe, share, ring the notification bell, and stay up to date with all our videos. Here we go. Number 10. Daniel Day-Lewis, breaking his own ribs sitting in a wheelchair for too long. For his role in The Crucible, the actor prepared by etching tattoos into his own chest. That's devotion. For his Oscar-winning role in My Left Foot, Daniel Day-Lewis refused to leave the wheelchair in between takes so that he could really experience the problems his character faced. Constantly sitting in the wheelchair had its consequences. The star was left with 2 broken ribs. The 3-time Oscar winner's devotion to his craft also nearly cost him his health on Scorsese's Gangs of New York, when Day-Lewis refused to wear a modern-day winter coat on set during filming and got pneumonia. To portray Bill the Butcher, he also flew in a British butcher to teach him how to cut up carcasses. That's no big deal. For the movie Lincoln, he refused to break character at all. Day-Lewis walked, talked, and even texted as Honest Abe, according to his co-star Sally Field. Sally had said, "I never met him. Never. I met him as Mr. Lincoln. He met me as Molly, as he called her. And after I got the role, there were 7 months where we began to shoot and he would text me all the time, in character. I'd have to then answer back in the language of the time, which was really hard to figure out, but great fun." That's one adventurous feller. Number 9. Natalie Portman, who trained for a full year to perfect her ballerina skills. Natalie Portman is not only a fantastic actress, but she's also got brains. The Harvard graduate has made a name for herself in Hollywood and has been in a number of great A-list movies. She shocked everyone with her acting talents when she shaved her head for the film V for Vendetta. But it was her role in the 2010 film Black Swan that really seemed to go too far. The star, who had already had a tiny figure as it is, dropped another 20 pounds for the ballerina role and spent an entire year training for the role. Portman reportedly spent 8 hours a day in rehearsal and even ended up dislocating a rib. The role won her an Academy Award for Best Actress, so at least it paid off. Number 8. Nicolas Cage, Birdie. He might be better known today for his eccentric spending habits, mediocre action movies, or status as an internet meme, but Nicolas Cage is also a dedicated adherent to the method. His approach to acting has yielded mixed results over the years. He earned acclaim for films like Adaptation in 2003 and Leaving Las Vegas in 1995, and derision for movies like The Wicker Man in 2006. One of his best method roles dates back to the early days of his acting career when he was cast in the 1984 war drama Birdie. In the film, Cage plays a disfigured Vietnam veteran who visits a friend from the war, played by Matthew Modine, in a psychiatric hospital, and does his best to bring him out of a delusional and near catatonic state. To prepare for the part, the then 19-year-old Cage had his wisdom teeth extracted without anesthesia. Good God, Cage. He also spent weeks with his face bandaged day and night so he could experience the physical pain and discomfort his character was going through. His impressive dedication to the part shows, and Cage's work in Birdie remains one of his best early performances. Number 7. Jared Leto, Suicide Squad. Jared Leto's shenanigans on the set of Suicide Squad are well known to many fans, but nevertheless, they still deserve attention. As it turns out, Leto, who was playing the latest iteration of the Joker at the time, didn't actually send used condoms to the cast of the DC Extended Universe film. During the shoot, everyone called him Joker, or Smiley, or Mr. J. He spent hours on YouTube watching footage of actual violent crimes being committed. Leto also sent his castmates used condoms and anal beads because the Joker is somebody who doesn't really respect things like personal space or boundaries. Even writer-director David Ayer was intimidated. "You can feel it when he comes to work. The crew feels it. Everyone feels it," Ayer explained. "He's freaking terrifying." In the end, Suicide Squad and Leto's performance were met with extremely mixed reviews. In an essay for The Atlantic, Angelica Jade Bastian argued that Hollywood has ruined method acting, calling Leto's Joker the latest reminder that the technique has become more about ego and marketing than good performances. Maybe Jared started thinking about his university marketing lesson, huh? Number 6. Johnny Depp. Richard says goodbye. In 2018, 2 photos of Johnny Depp, the star of box office bonanzas like Pirates of the Caribbean and bombs like Mordecai alike, quickly circulated around the internet. And why is that? Well, he looked entirely unwell in both of them. The Instagram fan site Johnny the Depp shared an image of Depp posing with a fan in Russia, looking extremely pale and thin. In another photo, Depp looked extremely thin, dressed in ill-fitting jeans with his face obscured by a hat and sunglasses. Depp's fans and celebrity watchers weighed in on why Depp suddenly looked so alarmingly different, suggesting everything from drug addiction to a serious medical problem. As it turns out, it seems a lot more likely that he'd merely lost a lot of weight for a role in a movie called Richard Says Goodbye, a dramedy in which Depp plays a college professor dying of a terminal illness. Yeah, we're probably just gonna go with that one. Number 5. Shia LaBeouf. Nymphomaniac.
Do it!
Who knows when his interest in performance art and bearing it all for the camera, pun intended, happened, but both certainly helped him in his role for Nymphomaniac. The Lars von Trier production required porn doubles and prosthetic genitals, but LaBeouf insisted on doing it for real. And that's what I'd call Shia in LaBeouf. "I know I'm the only actor who doesn't have a stunt double, and I know it's something that I needed," he explained. His co-star Stacey Martin told Vice that prosthetics were used for all of her scenes. Whether or not he performed the scene with his co-star Stacey Martin or with one of the porn doubles remains to be seen. Or, not seen, because who really wants to see Louis Stevens in such compromising situations? Number 4. Sylvester Stallone. Rocky IV. No one would want to mess with actor Sylvester Stallone in the ring, and he took his role in the Rocky films quite seriously. There were a total of 7 Rocky movies spanning from 1976 to 2005. The actor trained very hard for these movies, and surprisingly, he actually took real hits. In fact, Stallone insisted on taking real hits when he was in the ring, and the results were not so pretty. He suffered a broken rib and heart damage while filming the 4th Rocky film. As Stallone explains to Ain't It Cool News, "In the first round, these 2 characters should hate each other so much that they should just attack each other like pit dogs. So what you see in the first 20 seconds is real, and after the 3rd take of taking body blows, I felt a burning in my chest, but I ignored it. Later that night, I couldn't breathe very well, and they took me to the emergency room." Well, at least the fight between Rocky and Drago looks cool. Number 3. Hilary Swank. Boys Don't Cry. Method acting involves actors getting into the headspace of their character. However, Hollywood has had long-standing tumultuous relationships with transgender characters. Either played for laughs or for scares, a well-rounded transgender character was hard to come by until the 1999 film Boys Don't Cry. When Hilary Swank landed the role to portray the real-life transgender woman Brandon Tina, she had only a few television and theatrical credits. Boys Don't Cry was about Tina's life, which was tragically cut short as the result of a hate crime. Once the movie came around, Swank threw herself into the role and lived as a man for a month before shooting. Swank bound up her breast, lost weight, and assumed masculine characteristics. The film certainly transformed Swank's budding career. She went on to win an Oscar and numerous other accolades for her impressive performance. Number 2. Jim Carrey, Man on the Moon. Jim Carrey is certainly among the most least surprising of those who love to method act and really get into character. His role as eccentric entertainer Andy Kaufman in Man on the Moon was only his 2nd dramatic role in his, at that point, nearly 20-year career. Carrey had made his mark in Hollywood by portraying comedic characters, so unsurprisingly, he put everything into the role of Kaufman in the biopic. Carrey famously stayed in character throughout filming and was insistent on experiencing everything Kaufman did. Former wrestler Jerry Lawler was asked to play himself for scenes that recreated his feud with Kaufman. As Andy, Carrey had emotional reunions with members of Kaufman's family, including an hour-long conversation with his daughter. who never got a chance to actually meet her dad before he died of lung cancer in 1984. Even though Carrey won praise and a Golden Globe for his performance, the role clearly took a toll on his psyche. Kinda makes you wonder what the role of the Riddler did to him. And our number 1 pick, Heath Ledger's Joker. By now, everyone knows that Heath Ledger was just brilliant as the Joker in the 2008 film The Dark Knight. However, to get into character, the actor locked himself in a hotel room for an entire month to prepare for the role. He also wrote notes about the character in a Joker diary. According to reports, during his time shooting the film, Ledger ate very little and became clinically depressed. His performance as the sadistic murderer won him the Oscar for Best Actor in a Supporting Role. Sadly, Heath Ledger died from an accidental drug overdose before winning the award that he deserved. His character was described as someone with very little to no conscience towards his acts. He's just an absolute psychopath, a cold-blooded, mass-murdering clown.
But he did it so well!
Anyway, those are our top 10 actors who took their roles a little too serious and got out of hand. Do you think we missed anybody? Put it in the comments below. And of course, as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you can stay up to date in the future. And until next time.